So, hey guys, I present myself, Dave Okoni, CEO of Econize-More. So, before we go into the presentation, let's have an introduction of Econize-More. So, Econize-More is an economic business and goal to partner up with the government with the slogan of $2,000 to low incomers worldwide. So, what are we going to talk about today for the short presentation? We are going to talk about the leasing specifically, right? So, how does Econize-More put its business in other places other than Canada? It's by leasing. And we don't just lease like that. It's actually by improving Canada so well that other countries see how we're doing and want to get into our systematic way of doing our economy, and we help them through our lease, and we show them how to improve and give that $2,000 to low incomers. Now, the big question that people will come around with is, are you guys going to bring the Canadian dollar in our country? No, we're not. Actually, I've told you already. We're trying to do it by partnership and not by competition. The goal actually is to level up each dollar by a certain percent, but by keeping Canada on top of the economy. So let's talk about the leasing. So for high developers countries, right, the leasing is of a minimum of $600 million a year. And for a lower rate economy countries, the leasing is I got the words now. So for first world countries, the leasing is of 600 million minimum per year, and for third world countries, the leasing is of 300 million per year. Now, I'm not talking about what we're gonna offer and everything. I just want to explain how this will be dealt based on my terms. So let's start with the third world countries. So basically, for the third world countries, right, we start at 300 million a year, right? So basically, if we come to a deal with you guys, if we come to a deal with this country, and they want more than just the systematic ways, then we rise up the price a bit. But I have a term though. The term is low incomers. The term is third countries get 300 million per year as an annually fee, and the high incomers get 600 million a year as an annually fee. So if a third world country asks for more, we're gonna have the price, but we're gonna make sure it doesn't reach 600 million, right? Bringing it to a maximum of 500 million, right? Now, how do we calculate the prices between, right? So there's like, if you come in and ask for more than the basic needs, we're not gonna put decimals behind the 600 million and the numbers. We're gonna keep them complete, right? We're doing bounces of 70 million, right? So I'll give you an example. Let's say a country, a third world country comes in and asks for more services than the basic needs, then we add 70 million per, right? So if it goes from 300 million to 370 million, we keep it to 300 million. If it goes from 370 million to 400 million, if it goes over 370 million to 400 million, we bring it up to 400 million, right? So we put bounces of 70. You understand? Now, what is the goal when we come and bring our system into a country. So for third world countries, is to start them at their basic need from 300 million to 5 and bring them to a rate of 600 million because they're doing good. We're not just asking for annual fee because we have leased the contract. This is an economic business. We are checking on the threshold, and the threshold for lower for a third world country to be checked in if they're doing good, I calculate is 300 million a year. Right? Now, these contracts comes in terms of years, right? If in 5 years we have completed our terms, you want to renew with us, you want to continue, our goal is that you don't stay in the 300 million threshold. If you're making more money, you're developing better, there's more jobs, and the innovation is getting better, then we're gonna raise it up to a new threshold to prove the world that you can keep up with the high incomers. Because the first world countries are already at 600 million, right? And the goal is to bring this 300 millions at the same rate of pay of these first world countries, right? So the goal is to take a 300 million annually fee country and make them a 600 million annually fee country. It's to boost their economy. Now, to continue with the first world countries, the minimum of annual fees of 600 million and the maximum is of 1.1 billion. The goal for higher countries, if they decide to continue with us, it is to bring them to a rate of 2.2 billion. Always double the price. But then, I don't tend to go higher and higher than that. I tend to keep it to these prices, right? This is just a threshold to see if the civilian is doing good, and it's like data point. Now, let's talk about some business that Econize-More is holding. So basically, you have to understand that after we start our project Econize-More, we're going to limit the importation in Canada so Canada can be focused more onto our Canadian product, okay? And also, right, we're going to create product not only Canadian needs, but product that will be in high demand in other countries, which will boost our economy. So before we go into the innovations of Canada, before we go into the innovations that could boost job force in Canada, these are the businesses that Econize-More present. We have the label, which is called 1720 Breakthrough Entertainment. This is a label that offers everything that label will offer, but more structured. We follow you better, and we make sure that you're good. And if you're not good with us, we stay honest. We don't have time to waste. We just make who gotta be. There's also the church. The church is a non-profitable business. You can follow my YouTube Church of under here. It's called Church of David to see what I talk about and everything I'm doing there, right? In the Church of David, we also have a youth program that I'm trying to build. So instead of having like people coming to church and staying in the youth, I'm trying to buy buildings, but tall buildings. Where I'm gonna fill it up with like libraries, TVs, gaming station, billboards, you know. So the youth, when they're not feeling like they have something to do, they have those buildings to go to, right? And that's anywhere that the church will be placed at. And also, there's gonna be outside gaming, like basketball, soccer, touch football, all these things. And to conclude with everything, this youth group starts at 16 and closes at 25 years old. Now, let's talk about the three companies I believe Canada is going to evolve into. We have Onwood. Onwood is a company which we bring the wood to your work. So basically what we do, we buy the wood at Home Depot, all these places, and we stack it up in our storage, right? After, if somebody needs a hammer, wood, nails, anything that's missing, something broken, and they need to replace it immediately, they just call Onwood, right? Onwood brings it to the workplace for the right price, and you pay us cash, right? If you're a smaller business or you're single, Onwood is really good for you. So instead of putting a break into your work, especially construction people, when they work, they like to go flowing. They don't like to take breaks, because when they take breaks, it breaks their flowing, So for a single constructor man who's doing renovation in the bathroom and some, and his hammer broke, or he needs more wood or more material, well, Onwood, you just call Onwood and we bring it to you. We bring the top material for the lower price, right? And in the winter, Onwood brings salt, right? There's still construction in the winter, so we still work it up, but we add the salt business, right? So we bring salt to spots where they're missing it, right? And we also bring heating pads, and we bring shovels. So anything that's to keep warm. So if somebody is missing, we're gonna have, that's gonna be given, right? But you just have to give it back to us, and don't worry about how we're gonna pick it up. You just put it back into your office. We come with this, let us know, and we bring it back up. That's gonna be given. But what's gonna be given is the electronic vest, right? So on wood in the winter, we'll provide electronic vest for the snow people, right? We'll provide salt, shovel, and if there's any ice breakers you need, where we can help you get it easier, we're gonna bring it to you for the right price. And when we say for the right price, these tools are not to be returned. These tools are to be kept. Even if you got like something you've seen from a moment and that's the one we brought to you, you can keep it, right? The only thing that we ask back, because it's given, is the electronic vest. Heating pads, gloves, mask, you keep it. Now, we have Okoni, right? So basically, based on my Instagram search, I understood that Mark Carney's already doing his thing with the government. But me, I am not here to compete against Mark Carney, and I'm not here to say he's doing a bad job. I'm here to merge into Mark Carney. But if it's not Mark Carney next year or the year after, I'm here to merge in with the partnership who's gonna be in front of me, because I'm not coming here for power, and I'm coming here to help the economy with the new business idea I have. Alright? So now we have Okar. So what is Okar? Okar is a company that imports car parts from foreign countries, like wheels, motors, engines, stuff like that. Right? We bring them and we put into our storage. The garage man or the garage tour, they call us and they have a membership with Okar, right? So when they get a membership with Okar, they get all these parts from BMWs and all these foreign cars cheaper, right? Which makes repair and accessibility to these parts easier for the customer, right? If you understood. So basically, Okar, we import foreign car parts from other countries, which garage tours have a membership with us, and get these parts easier, right? Because it's right here in Canada already with Okar. They just come to us instead of waiting 5 months because they don't have the parts at the garage and you have to pay more. Well, we already have 3 engines with Okar for Mercedes or anything as if, even Lamborghinis, right? But I'm thinking more about useful cars. And then when they get these parts from us, it should be cheaper for you guys because you didn't have to wait. It was quicker. It was easier. They got it cheap from us. They got the profit higher. So they should make it cheaper for the customer who is coming to the garage. Now we have the tech company. So Econize-More is trying to build the biggest tech company ever existed, founded in Canada. And it's called Captive with a K. So instead of Captive with a C, I put Captive with a K. Because in my name there's Okoni, right? I'm trying to keep everything around my name. So Captive is a tech company that will play part in a lot. Cars, phones, computers, anything electronic, smart houses, you know. There's the smart house. There's the smart house that works everything, you know, intellectually through AI, right? And you can do everything on your phone with it, right? Captive. Now, there's Football State 50. You guys understand what Football State 50, right? Football State 50 is a league that starts at 14 years old and goes up to 22 years old, where cities play other cities in the state until they make it to the playoffs and play other states until in the finals, the championship, the 2 best cities from each state, the 2 best city from a state plays into somewhere we travel them to, right? So if you don't understand, it's a league that allows kids to travel. So basically, there's teams in cities, right? They play other cities in the states, and after in the playoffs they play other states, and after in the championship, the 2 best teams from different state play in the championship. And for the championship, let's say it's Las Vegas and LA that won, right? The championship won't be in Las Vegas or LA. We'll travel them out, right? If it's New York and Texas that one, right? The game is not gonna be in Texas or New York. We'll travel them out, right? And you guys know about the high school and stuff. You know, we're trying to make it like more opportunities, right? Now, right? This league is mostly for Americans, right? But I also thought about the Canadians, and I was like, how could the Canadians play in that league, right? And this league is mostly ran in the summer, right? But understand this. Football State 50 has the key in the recruit because this league is just not like a league. It's a league in America. You travel, people are gonna be the media's gonna come. It's gonna be all there, right? And Football State 50 doesn't limit the key in the recruit. They recruit as what they like, right? Econize-More through Football State 50 sponsors the league a lot, right? And what do we offer for Canadians who come and get recruited in the state to play Football State 50? There's gonna be housing buildings only for teenagers watched by guardians, but they're not gonna be in foster homes. They're not gonna be in family homes. So basically, we're gonna take housings, right? That I'm gonna buy with the state, right? And then we're gonna put at least 5 kids in one house, right? We put 5 kids in one house. They do the thing, right? And when it comes to when the season is done in the summer, well, we put them into a school too, right? And they're gonna go to school and live in their housing and be able to play Football State 50, you know, for the years they can, right? And it goes up to 22 years old. And you know in football, once you're good and you go into the team, there's a connection that built. The next year you start, the next year you start, the next year you start. So there's no trouble in that. Right? I hope it excites a lot of Canadians, right? Football State 50 invites Canadians in America in their own housing, right? With high school given, food and everything, because you guys are only minors, right? Food and everything given, right? Until you reach 22 and you see if you can make it to the big leagues, the NFL, right? But the NCAA is still gonna be there. I'm not touching the NCAA, right? The NCAA is still another route. But there's Football State 50 and the NCAA for 22 years old, right? So for Canadians, it's a recruiting to play Football State 50, right? And we just put you in the housing, right? You live by yourself with other teenagers, maybe from Windsor, maybe from Vancouver, right? And you communicate, you do your skills, right? You keep in school, right? You do your schooling, all that, and it creates one of the biggest league for teenagers to be discovered and really enjoy life, right? So guys, understand this, right? Econize-More is a economic business and goal to improve the economy by rewarding the citizens what they're deserved. Low incomers get to $2,000 monthly by completing 28 hours bi-weekly or 32 hours between those, right? High incomers who reach 100K to 2 million, they get 12,000 to 20,000 each 2 to 4 months, right? The one who are at 3 million, they are independent workers with benefits on interest, cars, houses, stuff like that, travel, like, benefits. Now, let's say you make 55,000 to 70,000. Well, in my terms of Econize-More, your monthly rate goes up. It doesn't stay at 2,000 only. 2,000 is for the lowest of low incomers, right? And after, if you're a non-worker, like not a disabled person, by proof of doctor gets 5,000 a month. Now, if you're a non-worker, right, for any reasons, like it's not feeling right, you get $530 as a non-work, right, a month, right? Does that conclude for everything I wanted to say? Now, let me read my notes. I'll come back. I think this concludes it for the presentation of today. Low incomers to the lowest point get $2,000 a month. Workers, in average, it goes higher, and high incomers get the 12,000 to 20 each 2 to 4 months, right? Oh yeah, this is what I wanted to add. So what is the goal of doing this in Canada? Is instead of having British Columbia or Prince Edward Island or Nova Scotia, Ontario, Quebec doing their own, I'm from Ontario, but doing their own giving of pensions, I want to put everybody on a fair pension, right? Through taxes first, right? So let's say you've been making 60,000 a year for so much now. In my terms of Econize-More, the return is really big. It's about 8,000 a month. Between four. Well, we have to calculate from the lowest to 100K, right? That's how we know how much we can give, right? So instead of having these workers doing it, Canada's doing it for all at once, all right? With a small qualification, which encourages people to find a job, and the quickest job they can get to get a 28 hours to 32 hours, so they can get a bit more money, right? And what do we encourage these people to do with this money, right? Is to buy Canadian product and their needs, right? Also, when it comes to the end, let me check my notes again. I really have to get it. Sorry, guys. I'm getting lost a bit. But anyways, so the goal with this money is to buy Canadian product. You know what I'm saying? At as much as we can for the needs, like when it comes to paper, when it comes to school needs, all that. But now what I wanna add, Canada is gonna involve very much in technology. Very much technology. We're not gonna put a break on technology. Technology is gonna be the number one source of why Canada went higher. It stays higher. So for schooling, for the young kids who are 18, 22, 25, I strongly encourage you to study intellectual technology or AI programming. Alright? You can study nursing and everything, it's good. We need it. Right? But if it's not the things you like, just in case you're like, oh, I don't know what to do. You know? Intellectual technology. You're behind a computer, you're programming codes and stuff like that. You understand what's going on behind cybersecurity. Right? It's cool. Right? And you stay with the lane. You come back home and say, I'm studying intellectual technology to be a cybersecurity, man. It's amazing. Right? That concludes it for everything. But understand, this is Dave Okoni, CEO of Econize-More, and I wish you a good day.